This episode is brought to you by my one and only food and mood journal. This is an 8-week food and mood journal and planner for beginners where you can track how food affects your mood, your hunger, and your energy levels. Are you sick and tired of promising yourself to stop binge eating? Do you feel out of control with food and you just don't know why you overeat? You might have intense cravings leading to self-sabotage. My food and mood journal is the perfect tool to help you tune into your signals that your body sends you. And by tracking what you eat and drink will help you give insight on how food affects your moods. This is an 8-week kickstart to mindful eating to help you identify the triggers that make you want to eat when you're not physically hungry. So this includes a food tracker, a mood and stress tracker, because we know that stress eating can also lead to overeating. We also have an 8-week goals tracker with journal prompts and affirmations. You'll also track things like your water intake and exercise. It makes a beautiful gift for anyone who feels out of control with food. It's an easy to use journal and it will give you just the insights to help you get on the path to stop binge eating, emotional eating, or any other form of overeating. So get your food and mood journal today by clicking the link in the show notes. Thank you. Welcome to Beyond Overeating by Wholesome Lifestyle Project, the Overeating podcast, where I'll be showing up weekly to share with you what I've learned during my binge eating recovery, helpful tools such as yoga, mindfulness, and energy medicine. My name is Stell, and my purpose is to inform and educate so that you can fast track your recovery in healing your relationship with food and finally trust yourself around the peanut butter jar. Join me as I share top tips, my struggles and triumphs to help inspire or just entertain. Remember, there is nothing wrong with you if you can't stop overeating. That's why I'm here to guide you. Welcome back to another episode of the Beyond Overeating podcast by Wholesome Lifestyle Project. I'm your host, Stell Coombe-Heath, and I'm so excited to have you here, my lovely. If this is your first time joining, I help busy women who struggle with binge and emotional eating find a better relationship with food. And I do this through various tools and techniques I have learned on my own recovery journey, through my own recovery coaching journey, and applying that through what I've also learned in my yoga and energy healing journey as well. So I am kind of multi-passionate in what I do, but I am also really, really passionate about giving my clients the actual step-by-step process on how to have a better relationship with food in the fastest possible way. So welcome if you were here, and I'm so excited today to share a hack to stop binge eating. And I know that a lot of us want quick fixes and we want to make sure that we get on top of binge eating as fast as we can. And that can be difficult. It really is something that we need to unlearn and rewire from things that we have learned over, I don't know, some of my clients, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years, they've been struggling with binge eating or this disordered or love-hate relationship with food and their bodies. And you can't just fix that with a two-week little challenge or a 5-day free challenge on Facebook or whatever the case is. It takes time for you to relearn and reprogram and have the right relationship with food. It comes with a few stumbling blocks. Yes, of course it does. But it's about picking yourself up and moving forward into a space where you have peace, where you don't think about food all the time, or you're not enslaved by urges all the time. We don't feel compelled to just tear into pastries like a food zombie. Like I like to refer to this part of the mind that just sometimes goes crazy on us. And today I just wanted to quickly give a shout out to some of my amazing clients. They are making amazing progress on the Food Freedom Program. I have been working with them one-on-one, showing them the steps, step by step, how to get to a space of food freedom and in the fastest possible way. We do that over a 16-week period because that is how long it kind of takes for you to rewire and unlearn certain behaviors, but also start to work with original triggers that got you in that behavior and habits of binge eating in the first place. So, you know, it is just amazing when your client pops up and she says, Stell, I don't even know how it happened, but my fridge is full of color. It's almost like it just magically appeared there. My friends don't even know who I am anymore because I'm meal prepping, and I just don't understand, or they just don't understand what has happened to me. And it is just amazing, like those kind of shifts that actually helps us in a right direction. It's just that sense of freedom. And, you know, these things become the tools and techniques I teach become such a habit. And it's as if you just automatically fall into do things. You know how to deal with your binge urges. So most of our clients don't even hear it anymore. One of my clients went on holiday or vacation, as they like to call it in the States. She didn't have any urges. She still had a few things with sugar in it. She still made healthy choices. She had some dessert, and without the full-on blowouts that used to come with that on vacation. You know, that part of the food zombie brain that says, well, you've already had one, so fuck it, you might as well continue and have more. So she actually felt so empowered when she came back. She's like, oh my gosh. And usually she feels like when she's come back from holidays, usually there could be a catapult back from that perspective as well. And she just said, I just carried on as per normal, and food is just such a normal thing for me now, and it's not an issue anymore. It just feels so amazing. So a big shout out to my clients. Both these clients shared these wins with me this morning, and that's why it's fresh in my mind. And yeah, I'm just super proud of their progress and how far they have come. And my love, if you are struggling, just know that this is possible for you, and that you currently are in the right place if you are listening to this episode. And just know that you are going to be okay. I wanted to just give you that message. You are going to be okay. Currently, you are where you are. Your body has found ways to cope with certain situations. Binge eating is just a symptom, but there is a way out. And I would love to invite you into the Wholesome Lifestyle Sisterhood, which is this beautiful, growing community of women who are struggling with binge eating or who are currently recovering from binge eating. And they are just starting to support one another in such a beautiful way. One of the beautiful ladies actually said, I can't believe I have found such a supportive group. And a lot of them have said that the resources in there and just the support they're getting from each other is profound. It's making such a big difference in their lives. So I'd love to invite you into this group. It's called the Wholesome Lifestyle Sisterhood. This is for women who want to have a better relationship with food. You want to stop binge eating. You want to have a life without avoiding foods because you're so afraid of actually climbing into the cupboard. And you're willing to do the work. You're willing to actually make that difference. So I'd love to invite you into that space. If you're not sure, please reach out to me on wholesomelifestyleproject.com. There's a little purple chat with me button. Come and chat to me if you need. I'm always here to listen, point you in the right direction, give you resources, or if you're ready to work with me one-on-one, then let's make that happen, because I know for a fact that you can make this happen. And it's really, really such a possibility for you if you are ready. And I know, my love, that sometimes you need to be 100% ready to take this journey. I 100% respect that, but I will be here for you when that day happens. So come and join the Wholesome Lifestyle Sisterhood. In the meantime, I'll pop the link in the chat below and also in the show notes of this episode. Today, I wanted to really share a hack for binge eaters, or a hack to stop binge eating. And this has a lot to do with energy. And I know I haven't really spoken a lot about energy and what it is and all the rest, but I don't know if you're familiar with a saying that says, attention goes where energy flows. And what that means is, when we spend our days breaking ourselves down for binge eating, when we spend our time breaking ourselves into guilt and shame for our behaviors, when we entertain the ideas that there's something wrong with us because we are struggling with binge eating, then we give all our energy to that. And I'm calling them fears. You give all your attention to those fears. And unfortunately, what that does is it creates a space where we don't have any view or vision of where to go next. We feel like, well, this is just me. My life is I am just a binge eater. Or you feel like you're trapped, or you feel like, you're suffocating because there's just so much more to life. But you are just so bogged down and clouded down with feeling this way. So I wanted to share a quote with you today from Richard Wilkins, which I actually have never met before, or I've actually never heard of him before until I found this quote. And I found it so profound. It was actually something I shared with a group of ladies where I did a card reading for this week on Tuesday. And it just actually made so much sense. And it says, miracles start to happen when you give as much energy to your dreams as you do to your fears. And I think this is such a massive, profound thing for us all to start thinking of. This mindset of obsessing over our behaviors and how wrong it is causing us more of that same behavior. All our attention is going there, which means that you don't have time, you don't have energy for anything else. And we need to shift that mindset. So I wanted to start today with a little exercise, actually. So I'd love for you to grab a pen and paper. And so if you need to pause this episode and grab a pen and paper, you're welcome to do that. But on this piece of paper, what I'd love for you to do is draw 2 circles. They don't have to be perfect, so let that perfectionist mindset go. I want you to draw 2 circles, one next to the other. And on the top of the first circle, I'd like for you to write the word fears. And on the second circle, write the word dreams. And what we are going to do is we are going to start looking at the fear type mindsets that is keeping you stuck at the moment, that's keeping you in a space of overwhelm. And once we have that, we can shift our mindsets away from that, now knowing that our energy is not in the right place. So I'd love for you to brainstorm and really feel into what that is for you. I'm going to give you a few examples, but I don't want you to get distracted with what I am saying. So just know that there is no right or wrong here. And the examples I have is just some of the things that I hear and what all the things that I have felt many, many years ago. But you write what resonates with you, or if you have others, then you go with that. So some of the fear-based mindsets that we have is, I will be a binge eater forever. I can't trust myself with binge food. There's something wrong with me. I can't stand being in my body. Binge eating is taking over my life. Those are just some of the fear-based thoughts that we have when it comes to our eating. So write down everything you can think of. Again, if you need to pause for a moment and jot down all these fear-based thoughts. If there's thoughts about your body that's keeping you stuck, then put that in. If there's certain food fears or food thoughts, write it all down, get it out of your system. Because here's where the magic is. In a moment, we'll challenge those fears. And that is what we'll be able to do, is start moving into looking at where our dreams are. Okay. All right. And in this case, our dream in this exercise is actually the future version of you without binge eating. We're having a positive relationship with food, feeling at home in your own body. That is the dream. That is the dream I have for you, my love. And for each and every single one of you listening to this episode, that is my dream for you. And that is mostly the reason why I have this podcast. And okay, so I'm getting I'm getting distracted because I'm just so passionate about sharing and helping people move forward. So, all right, now that you have your fears on the first circle, I'd like for you to just journal on the following 3 things. Number 1, have all my fears come true in my life? So in general, have all my fears come true? So even though these are the fears I'm focusing on in my life, has everything I've feared and everything I've worried about, has that come true? And in most cases, that answer is probably no, because I can't remember the exact percentage, so I don't want to lie, but a very large percentage of the things we fear and worry about never, ever happen. Our fears are worse than what actually happens. Yet we focus our energy in those fears. Journal prompt number 2 is, can you control your fears? Such a good question. Can you control your fears? Can you control these fears which are so overpowering, so obsessive? And the answer to that, my lovely, is probably also no. So why are we giving it so much energy? Why are we giving it so much focus when we can't control that part? What we can control is our actions. And knowing that your future is not written in stone, it's not based on these current fears that you have written down, that doesn't make who you are. You are an amazing, capable human being who just somehow got lost. But your future does not have to stay in this circle. And you can choose to move forward courageously. And you don't need to control your fears. And the question number 3 is, how would you behave differently if you knew you couldn't fail? I'd like for you to just write that down and start focusing on the dream. I know we haven't filled in anything in the dream circle yet, but I'd love for you to just focus here on the things that you can do, knowing that you couldn't fail, knowing that your actions are not based out of fear. What are the things that you could actually achieve? So now that you have written that down, I would like for you to just take a moment and maybe reflect on these fears that you have written down and notice how much energy you have spent on that. And I'd like you to actually put a number out of 100. How much energy have you spent on these thoughts, these fears, these worries? How much? And I know from my binge eating experience, I think probably 80 to 90% of my time and energy was spent on those things. It's no wonder that I was exhausted. It's no wonder that I didn't feel happy. It's no wonder that I didn't feel connected to my friends or in relationships. Because all my energy was going somewhere else. Okay, so now I'd like for you to move over to your dream circle. I'd like for you to just close down your eyes for 1 second and just imagine life without binge eating. Just see it in your mind, this food freedom version of you. And I'd like for you to write down what you would do without those fears, what you would say to friends. What would you be doing with your kids, your family? I know these questions sometimes feel like it's not possible because maybe this is the only way you've ever been or the only way you kind of know right now. But just write that down. And because I know that it's difficult, so for some of you, I'm going to give you a few dream statements. I am determined to find a way to binge eating recovery. I am working on making peace with food. Binge eating is a symptom, and that means there is a solution. Despite how I feel, I'm starting to take care of my body today. And the last one, I can only go forward. So although I can learn from this experience right now, I refuse to dwell on the past. Okay, so those are just some of the dream statements that I have written down, which I wish I did when I wish I had this exercise to do when I was going through my recovery, because this would have been so helpful. So now that you have that, I would love for you to really connect in with your dream, focus on your dream. And I'd like for you to actually fold that piece of paper in half or tear it in half and only keep the dream piece of paper. Take a photo of it on your phone or put it next to your mirror. In the mornings when you brush your teeth, you can have a look at those dreams and start focusing your energy on those dreams of being binge free, of having a better relationship with food, instead of focusing on the past behaviors and the feelings and everything else that's dragging you down. Because energetically, it's always going to just suck you in and you'll feel like there's just a never-ending loop. And I'd hate for you to be stuck and feel like that for the rest of your life. So, my loves, take that with you. And I wanted to just add in a few little affirmations for you that you can pair with this dream circle. When you're looking at this, I'd love for you to really get into the feelings of being in that future you, of finding ways to beat binge eating, in finding resources to make it happen, into loving or starting to connect with your body and taking care of it in this moment and not waiting for binge eating days to be over. So I'd love for you to just pair them with these affirmations. Obviously, you can make up your own. There's so many out there. If one of these don't resonate with you, please don't feel, oh, wow, this is the law. It's not. Go and find something else that resonates with you. And I'd love for you to write that around your circle of dreams or underneath the circle of dreams, or keep it next to you on a sticky note, or whatever the case is, so that the two of them are together. And here are the affirmations. It's okay to love myself now as I continue to evolve. Number 2, my body is a gift. Number 3, food doesn't have to be the enemy. It can be nurturing and healthy. And number 4, life is too short and too precious to waste time obsessing about my body and food. I'm going to take care of it in the best ability and get out of my head and into the world. I love that one. It is so beautiful. I'm actually going to say it again. Life is too short and too precious to waste time obsessing about my body and food. I'm going to take care of it to the best of my ability and get out of my head and into the world. Powerful. Imagine focusing all your energy on your dream and on these affirmations for the next 30 days. Just imagine what will happen. So my loves, I know sometimes it can be so easy and so or so hard to dig yourself out of a dark hole. I 100% get it, because I couldn't do it myself either. I couldn't see a way out of the light. Even though I got all this advice, I listened to podcasts, I read books, I still felt stuck in the cycle. And if that is you, and you would honestly and truly want to stop binge eating in the next 16 weeks, which is about 4 months, 3 to 4 months, in the fastest possible way, I'd like to invite you to apply for the Food Freedom Program. So I'd love for you to go to my website, wholesomelifestyleproject.com, drop down to work with me, and there is a let's get started little menu option. Pick that. I will put that in the show notes as well. Book a session with me. Let's talk about what your recovery journey can look like for you and how to make it possible as quickly and as simply as it can be for you. Sending you so much love, my beautiful, beautiful community. If this podcast has made an impact on you, please share this in your Instagram stories or share this with a friend. If you know they're struggling, also make sure to leave a review on Apple or on any platform that you're currently listening to. I'd love for you to just spread the word and help anyone else who might be struggling along this journey. There's so many people in this world, and we don't understand or know what someone's going through until we actually hear their stories. And this often happens with binge eating. It's such a secret relationship with food. It's so personal and raw. So by you sharing this episode with someone or with your Instagram feed might actually, or your Facebook story, whatever the case is, might actually just help someone who's also struggling just like you, and you might never even have known. So thank you everyone for being here today, for showing up, for listening to this story. If you've done the exercise, if you've done the work, then in this episode, and you've done this mindset hack, it's going to be amazing. I'd love to hear from you if you've tried it and how it's gone. Go to my website, wholesomelifestyleproject.com. In the chat function, type me a little chat message. I'd love to hear from you, my loves. All right, have a beautiful week, everyone. Can't wait to see you next week for another episode of the Beyond Overeating podcast. All my love. Bye. Thank you so much for joining me today, and don't forget to share this with all your friends. You can do this by adding this to your Instagram story and tagging me at Wholesome Lifestyle Project, or by simply telling them about it. If you could rate and review on whatever platform you are listening, this will go a long way in helping me get this podcast out there so that I can share my message and help as many women out there struggling with food issues as I can. Don't forget, you can follow me on Instagram on Wholesome Lifestyle Project or connect with me on LinkedIn. My name's Coombe-Heath, and that's where you'll find me on LinkedIn. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.